From Mississippi.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that I may speak as if in morning business.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. President, the United States Senate lost one of its most colorful and well-liked staff members last Thursday night when my administrative assistant, Wiley Carter, died. His sudden and unexpected death at 61 years of age following surgery at a hospital in Jackson, Mississippi, has deeply saddened us all. He began his work with me as manager of my campaign for re-election to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1974. In that turbulent election year, with his good assistance, we received over 70% of the vote. After the election, Wiley joined my congressional staff in Mississippi, where he served as my liaison with local governments and caseworker. 2 years later, he became a member of my Washington staff and soon thereafter became my administrative assistant. During these 23 years of close association, I developed a deep appreciation for Wiley Carter. His warm good nature was constant, his loyalty never failing, and his enthusiasm an ever-present inspiration. He was adept at handling constituents' problems, and he reminded all of us by his example that one of our highest priorities was to help solve the problems of the people of our state and to treat everyone who called on us with respect and courtesy. He really loved his job. He loved people. He loved politics. He loved campaigns. He loved Mississippi State University. But most of all, he loved his family. He cared about his children, and his efforts to support and assist them in every possible way were well known. One experience with Wiley and his wife Gwen and their children and extended family is particularly memorable for me. We were all in Starkville, Mississippi together, celebrating the donation of his political memorabilia and papers to the Mississippi State University Library. The love the family members felt for each other was obvious to me, and the pride they had in seeing Wiley's career celebrated with such ceremony, well attended by many friends, was evidence of their deep appreciation of him. And he loved every minute of it, as he should have. One of his former classmates said to me, "Where did Wiley get any papers? When he was in school at State, he didn't have any papers." Well, of course, there were a lot of clippings and photographs and letters that had accumulated over a career dating from the organization of the Mississippi Young Democrats in the 1950s and the Carroll Garton and John Bell Williams campaigns for governor to the present. The skills he developed along the way led our mutual friend Bill Simpson to say to me recently, "Wiley Carter, in my book, is the best street politician in Mississippi." I didn't know whether that was such a high compliment or not until I told Wiley what Bill had said to me. And Wiley said, "You know, that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten." In this day of cynicism about politics and government, more Wiley Carters would be good to have. People who devote their energy to doing their best to make our government respond to the needs of ordinary people and respect the opinion of average citizens. Wiley engendered goodwill wherever he went. He warmed our hearts and he put a smile on our faces. Without Wiley, life will not be as interesting, and political campaigns won't be the same either. He would say, for example, in a campaign, if you haven't heard a rumor by noon, you ought to start one. Well, Wiley organized a war room before Lee Atwater and James Carville made the term famous. He was so well liked by so many in Mississippi and here in Washington too. A Capitol Hill policeman, Andy Anders, was one of the first Washington friends of his that I called on Friday morning. Well, Andy had taken his vacation a few years ago to come visit Mississippi at Wiley's suggestion, and Wiley gave him the royal treatment. They walked up to the state capitol. The legislature was in session. He introduced him to Governor Kirk Fordyce, the Speaker of the House, and many others. Of course, Andy was impressed and delighted. That says a lot about Wiley and his capacity and his sense of duty to reciprocate true acts of friendship and kindness. There will never be another one like him. And we are all so fortunate that we have had the benefit of his unique insights into human nature and his example of loyalty to his friends and family.
Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I join to express my sadness at the loss of our friend and Thad's administrative assistant, Wiley Carter. I extend my sympathy to Senator Cochran and his staff, and certainly to the family and to all the many friends that Wiley Carter had in Mississippi. Senator Cochran did a wonderful job of talking about his dominable spirit. He was a lovable guy, a great pleasure to be around. He was a friend of mine, and on many occasions when I needed advice and counsel, I can remember seeking out Wiley Carter. He did always have a good spirit. I've never seen anybody that actually enjoyed government and politics, which is the art of government, any more than Wiley Carter. And he did a great job for not only as senator, but the people of our state. He worked hard. There was no problem too small for Wiley to dig in. He loved Mississippi State University, always looked after the university, all the people that went there, and all the people that felt like they needed somebody they could talk to that it was on their level, and that was Wiley. Everybody felt at home with Wiley. I'm sure kings and governors, as well as out there, a fellow just working in the potato patch at Vardaman, Mississippi. They knew Wiley. He did a great job. And so we have lost a great friend, a great asset for our state, a friend of the people, Wiley Carter. He will be truly missed. I yield the floor, Mr. President.
Senator from Vermont.
Mr. President, I know we all join in our feelings about Wiley, and they were so adequately and eloquently expressed that we appreciate that.